Everybody, welcome to a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon podcast. Thank you all for joining me. Thanks for being here today. And as you know, you can get insight like this on zoneofgenius.com. You said this is going to be the best interview ever? This one here? Yeah, yeah. But I'm interviewing right now. So this is going to be the best interview ever with Jessica Johnson. Jessica, thanks for being here today. And it's amazing how we rekindled our relationship. You and I were both at a mutual event with Kate Luzio and Luminary. Give her props. And you were there and I were there a bit early. And I'm like, wait a minute, Jessica, I've seen you on stages. You've been on the stage. I've been on the stage. And you're like, yeah, Ramon. And we just started talking. I said, I got to interview you. So Jessica, thanks for being here today. I hope you are well and doing good. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me, Ramon. It's great to be back. Great to reconnect. And I look forward to sharing some insights with your community and hopefully being a blessing to somebody. They can get some information that'll carry them through the day, through the week, and through the year at the top of their game.
Yes, amen. Indeed, indeed. And so while we're starting off, just give us your full name and who you work for at your company, but you tell you your full name, who you work for, what your role is there, which I know, but just reset the room for the audience who we're talking to today.
Well, my name is Jessica Johnson Cope. I'm the president and CEO of Johnson Security Bureau. We are a third generation family owned and operated security services firm based in the South Bronx, BX. Stand up. And I work for my employees. We have about 200 employees across the state of New York and going as far west as the state of Montana. And we also work for some tremendous clients that include federal agencies, large global banks, and huge construction firms. And so I'm just so happy to be with you, so happy to continue the legacy that my grandparents started when they
Hmm.
founded the firm, and so happy to bring people along on this journey, whether it's my team members that work for us internally or the clients that we serve.
I love that. And jump into that third generation. Third generation means grandparents, possibly parents, and then you are just third generation. I noticed you didn't say second generation. Break that down.
Yes, so my grandparents together started the firm
Wow.
in 1962. My dad and my grandmother led the firm from the 80s into
Mhm.
the 2000s. And then when my dad transitioned, my
Mhm.
brother and I took over, and my brother was kind enough to let me step into the leadership role. So I've been running the firm this year. We'll make 18 years. I know, can't tell, but yes, I've been a boss for
I
18
love
years
that.
here.
Congratulations. I love that. I love that. And help me understand what was the journey of you being working for the company in this role or other roles? Meaning, were you like Ramon? I was a chef in LA and my dad kept calling me and asking me to sweep the floor somewhere or just, whatever or to be CEO. Just what was that? Were you, help me understand because there's so many different ways it could go. I didn't want to be there and then I was there, or no, since I was a kid, I always worked there. Help us understand just how you got here today. What was that journey?
Well, we have a small, closely knit family. So the office was actually located in the same building we lived when we were growing up. And so when we come home from school, my grandmother would pick me up, or one of my grandmothers would pick me up and my brother and bring us back to the office. And my grandmother said, okay, you answer the phone, you make copies, you answer the door. So she wanted
Nice.
to instill in us responsibility. She wanted to instill in us a work ethic, and everybody in the family supported that. Whether it was going to sites, making sure things were good in the office. So we learned about the business by being hands on in the business. My dad, however, wanted us to be able to do whatever we wanted to do. Like, what's the purpose of having a business if it doesn't equip you and enable you to live out your life goals? And so there was never any pressure for me to come into the business as I was growing up. So I went to school, went to Northwestern University, got a degree in engineering. I was going to become an engineer, and I thought I was going to buy a radio station and run that radio station because I know how to
Of
work the
course.
technology, I know how to work the mic, and then I'd have the money to run it. But ended up going into pharmaceutical sales. And
Mm.
actually, I had moved to Dallas, Texas, and I was living my life, found a good church home, found community there, bought a house. So one day my mother called and said, your dad is sick.
Mm.
He's your responsibility.
Mm.
You need to come home. And since New York is so expensive, you can't come home without a job. And just to show you how divinely my steps were ordered, within 2 weeks, I had a job, had
Mm.
put my house on the market for rent, and was back in New York. Moved in with my dad, and got to see how he was doing, and was reminded that family is everything.
Mm. Mm.
Family was everything. So I was able to work in my new pharmaceutical job in New York for a
Mhm.
few years. And then as my dad's health began to decline, we realized that we were going to need to make a transition in the business. My dad was subsequently diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Mm.
They said that he would have 2 years. That 2 years was actually 4 months. And then
Mm-hmm.
in hospice, my brother and I decided, while my dad was in hospice,
Mm-hmm.
decided that we owed it to the people that worked for us to continue the family legacy and to keep the business running. So, what we inherited was a building, a book of business that included 2 clients
Mm.
and 16 employees. That was
Wow.
October 4th, 2008. October 4th, 2008. So we hadn't yet had President Obama. We were in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of financial crash and 2 clients, 1 building, 16 employees. When I mentioned today, we have nearly 200 employees. We're operating in 4 different states. And so that's just a sign that this was
Incredible.
divinely ordained for me to step into the business, for me to build community within the industry, and to grow the business, put people to work. And just continue the legacy and make my family proud. My
Mm.
dad has transitioned, but my mom is still with us. She actually works here with us. I saw her walking up the stairs
Nice.
as I was preparing to come talk to you.
Yes.
And we have 200 employees. We have some family members that work for us. So
Sure,
there are
sure.
over 190 families that the work we do supports. So I'm so proud of this journey and what we're able to do, and look forward to what's to come.
I love that. And talk about this decision you made to you and your brother made, for you to for y'all and you at this stage right now to take over the company to do it. You could have said, I'll build the family legacy, make millions or hundreds of thousands of pharmaceutical sale. I'll be a good person, a good human. Well, all the good, I'm be a good human, but I'm not running the company. We're going to sell it, give it away to somebody else, or whatever you do with it. But we're not running it. It's gone. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Granddad. Thank you, Grandma. What was that like? If you're just trying to understand for those in this position now who are like, I'm a child of my parents, I'm an adult though, and we need to make some decisions. You could have went either way, and maybe either way would have been okay. Help me just dive deep a bit more. Help me understand that. Why?
So two things. When I was in pharmaceuticals, I was on a track to become a sales manager. And I was in an interview with one of my favorite managers my last firm. And he
Mm,
asked me, why should I give you this job? And it hit me. I'd
mm,
never thought this before. It hit me in that conversation. And I said to him out loud, I don't have to work for you. You don't have to give me this job. I said, there's
mm,
a place with my name on the door. I said, I
mm,
choose to work for you. I
mm,
choose to do a good job for you. I said, but at any point in time, I can leave and do a good job and build
mhm,
my own dream. And I had
mm,
never thought that. I was like, wait, where did that come from? Oh my gosh, I'm not going to get this job. And oh my gosh, he's going to help me. Or he's going to hate me. But it turned out that that was my truth. It was somewhere latent inside of me. And just being able to have a real conversation with a friend, coworker, supporter, supervisor, at that point in time that I knew that I really didn't have a choice but to come into the family business. And I didn't know what that would look like until my dad got sick. The other thing is, my brother and I had discussed what would happen if we were to sell the business.
mm.
And typically, when you're in a situation like that, when you're grieving and you're trying to make fast decisions, if you have a transaction within a business, you're not going to usually get the most money that you can. I didn't know a lot about mergers and acquisitions, but I knew that if we were to sell right then, we wouldn't get a lot. And so it was worth putting in the investment to build the business back up. Because if we had cashed out then, what would we do? Go on a vacation to the DR, bought a car? That wouldn't
I
have
love
been
that.
us being good stewards. And having been
Mm,
raised in the church, my brother is
mhm,
an ordained minister,
mm,
licensed minister. The stewardship part was also important. So we were
mm.
stewarding relationships, we were stewarding the finances, we were stewarding this gift that we were given. And so we thought that it would be robbery for us not to at least try
Mm.
to get things together. And that's what we did.
I love that talking about the transition and decision you made to continue family legacy and stewardship. I think stewardship is so important. Another thing I'm curious about, and again, thank you for being here, is that growing it from a handful of employees to 200 employees and the growth you've had. I know there's no secret, but can you talk about some of the just how did you do it?
Part of
How
it
did you and
was
how are you doing it? Help us unpack this. What are the business lessons and or the mindset lessons? I don't know where you're going to go, but how did you do
three things.
it? Okay.
It's about building community. And
Mm,
so one of the first things I did was to sit and spend time in the space in the office building. And my dad had a Rolodex. Dating myself, I went through his Rolodex and started reaching out to people and saying, hey, you might not know
mm,
me, but I think you knew my dad. And so many people had love from my dad. So many people had benefited from the work that he and my grandmother had done, that at a minimum, they were willing to have a conversation with me. So having those conversations and tapping into the community that they had created. And then from there, I began to create my own community. And so I sought the help that I needed. I took advantage of some of the capacity building programs. So we participated in the 10,000 Small Businesses program through Goldman Sachs. We were in the inaugural class. And as a result, we learned a lot. We made a lot of significant connections. And now it's 15 years since we went through the program, and we're still growing and benefiting from that experience. We partnered with other local service providers, took advantage of the SBTRC, Small Business Transportation Resource Center, the PTACs, which they now call Apex Accelerators, which are government funded capacity building and access to capital, access to contract resources, and then just kept showing up. And people would say,
yep.
oh, don't think just because you show up, I'm gonna give you a contract.
Hmm.
I'm like, okay, don't think just
Hmm.
because you're a woman, I'm gonna give you a
Hmm.
contract.
Hmm.
Okay. Don't think just because you're a minority, I'm gonna give you a
Hmm.
contract. But we kept showing up.
Yes.
And a pivotal contract for us came through the Columbia Manhattanville redevelopment. So, Columbia
Mm,
University, Ivy League school, everybody's familiar with them. But in terms of square footage, out of all the Ivy League colleges and universities, Columbia has the smallest square footage. And
mm,
so at the time when I came into the business, they had begun the process of building their new business school in Manhattanville, a section of Upper Manhattan, which is in close proximity to where our office is located. And I went to an outreach event, and the procurement team said, we have public safety that we hire out to one of your competitors. So we don't see any opportunities for you to get work. But if you want, you can register in our database and see what happens. So I said, okay, went registered in their database. And it was not even 3 months later, the lady called me. She said, you will not believe this. I've never seen this happen. We have a construction project and we
wow.
need local and diverse participation.
Mm,
Your
mm,
zip code is considered one of our local zip codes, and you're a
mm,
diverse firm. Come
mm,
meet with the construction company. We did that in December of 2009. And we met with the construction project manager, and he said, I don't think you can do this, but I'm going to give you a chance.
mm,
You have 6 months to prove that you can do this. We had that
mm.
conversation in December 2009, July 1st, 2010. We showed up ready. We took our best officers, we took some of our family
Yeah, yeah.
members. My husband, who was working with his father and their family's business, he said, Dad, I'm leaving. I'm going to go help her
I
build
love
her
it.
dream. And we showed up at 125th Street and 12th Avenue, like,
Yeah.
we're ready. We started that job July 1st, 2010. We ended that job February 22nd, 2022. First of all, it's
Wow.
unheard of to be on a construction project for 12 years. Second
Yes.
of all, the guy had thought we weren't even going to make it 6 months. We thought weren't going to make
Yes.
it six
Yes.
months. And in all of that work, we worked with 5 different construction firms, didn't get a single contract with Columbia proper. After
Mm-hmm.
the work ended, we got our first contract with Columbia University, and we were able to use that work as a foundation to get other construction projects, to do other work within the community.
Mm,
There were countless people in our community that we were able to put to work. And now, when you go to 125th Street and 12th Avenue, you see this wonderful campus that includes business school,
mm-hmm.
residential buildings, mixed use buildings, and it towers up, and you can see it across to the Palisades in New Jersey. And people on my team can say, I did this. I had a hand in
Mm,
doing this, because we're called to be creators.
yes.
You read the Bible in Genesis chapter 1,
Mm-hmm.
God created. In the beginning there was, and God
Yes.
created. He said, let there be. And he created us to be creators.
That's
And
right.
so to be able to be involved in creating something um, in in my own backyard, that was kind of the springboard. into
Mm,
the subsequent growth that we had. So building community, having wonderful partners, showing up, those are the keys to us being able to grow and scale the business. And you mentioned mindset. In the course of this time that we've been doing that and being exposed to people who
mm,
are playing a different game on a higher
yes.
level has caused me to have to refocus and change my
Mm,
perspective. I
mm,
catch myself some days I'm saying things like, we can't, oh, no, no,
mm,
stop. Why would we? Mm-mm-mm. Stop. And
mm,
the people with affluence, the people with influence whom
mhm,
we have grown to know and who have grown to know us, they've
mhm,
helped us to change our language and change our
mm,
perspective in terms of where we see the business going.
mm,
If you had asked me in 2008, I would have said, we're going to get one government contract. If we grow 20% over the next 5 years, we'll be good. I wrote that down. I
mm,
wrote that down. I wrote that down in 2010. If we get 20% growth over five
mhm.
years, we'll be good. Within 6 months of writing it down, we had experienced that growth.
Wow,
Like the Bible says in Habakkuk 2, write the vision, make it plain so that
that's
men
right.
may run with it. When we wrote down what our vision is, we realized our vision was too small.
Ooh,
And I'm saying this, in 2026, we are all being called to have a grander vision. We are not called to play small. We will get left behind. I literally had a conversation with a venture capital, no, a private equity guy
mhm,
2 weeks ago, and he said, Johnson, you have two choices. You can scale, or you can count the days until your business
mhm,
folds.
mm,
Message to everyone out there, if you're not looking at how to scale your business, you will become irrelevant. I don't care if you're in AI, I don't care if you're
mm,
in making cupcakes. If you can't figure out how to scale, you will be left behind, and this is not the season to be left behind.
mm.
But I say that in love.
Jessica, wow. Wow, it's amazing how similar business and mindset is. And I'm sure there's differences, but where you and I met, you know, in the room who we were hearing from, you know that brand. I'm having a conversation with them on Thursday. And to your point, it's just amazing mindset because I'm going through the same thing. You and I have different businesses. I'm cupcakes, you're AI, meaning the different businesses, but I'm going through the same journey. As I meet with them, I'm like, no, no, no. Ramon's just not going for the context of what I'm doing, a $15,000 speaking gig. Why not 500,000? Which from my world is huge. So it's amazing to all those listening. It's mindset and thinking bigger. I think that's powerful, which leads me to Jessica to ask you, what are the differences of running a construction company versus running something else? Well, I'm sure there are similarities, but it's my understanding that in construction and things of that nature, procurement, I used to work at the UN, contracts, you can't just, some deals you can, I'm sure, but have a coffee and one guy or gal can say, yeah, Jessica, we got you, 20 million's wired to your account. It's a labyrinth of things, So what's the differences and what is the same? Help walk us through what's it like running a construction firm, if you get what I'm trying to ask. I mean, excuse me, security firm, not construction, security firm.
So we do security and construction. We do corporate security. We do
Okay.
government security. And
Mm.
there's some nuanced differences, but ultimately, what it comes down to is relationship.
Okay. So that still is important. Relationships. You said that
People
several
still do
times.
business with people they know.
Mm,
And so the pandemic did a disservice to so many of us, and we got comfortable being remote, working from
hmm
behind a screen, and being at home in our PJs. Like if
mm.
I were to stand up right now,
Yeah,
no, I'm
yeah,
not. I'm not
yeah.
wearing
I know what
pajamas
you
yet
mean.
because I came into the office.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and so we have to get out of that mindset. We have to get in front of people
I
and
agree.
remind
Yeah.
them who we are. Because when we
Mm,
show up, then that's how people know we can blow up.
mm,
The other thing is we have to have processes. As we do more work with Fortune 100 firms, they
hmm
have very specific procurement processes.
mm,
Now, if you have relationships, sometimes you can work around, but you still
sure.
have to go through the process. So, the key is that you have internal processes for your business. What is your sales process? What is your marketing process? What is your fulfillment process? Whether it's a product or a service, what's your
Mm,
quality assurance process? What's your reporting process? What can you borrow from larger firms that you're not already doing to make
mm,
you to bring more value? to bring more value to whomever you're doing business with. Because ultimately, people aren't buying a product or service, they're buying the value of what you can offer that they can't do otherwise do themselves. And then lastly, I would say you have to iterate and continue to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're good now, how can you get great? If you're great, well, then how can you get superb? Figure those things out. And that's how, regardless of if you're construction, regardless if you're a master storyteller and stage taker, you can grow and scale your business. You got to have the processes, you got to have the relationship, and you got to get better at every opportunity that you have.
Jessica, I love that because what I'm hearing you say, it just as I repeat it and learn for myself and for the audience listening, is that whether it's government, Fortune 100, these are big. And anytime, stop me, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm hearing, these are big, complex organizations, multi-billion, million, huge mammoth. So you got to do what they said. If they have a 99 step point, do the 99 steps. And you may have someone on your team, Jessica, whatever. We got to do these steps. But I still got to meet Marvin, still got to meet Bob, have a coffee, go to their baby shower, because they're still in a very transparent way, the influence that decision to say, right, we want to work with this company because we trust them, whatever it is. We're still humans, I guess what I'm trying to say. We still have good biases. Am I on the right track of something there?
You're
What I'm
you're
hearing?
exactly right. And when I think about it, because when we reflect on 2025 was a project for all
Hmm.
of us, but particularly for women in business,
Hmm.
whether they're business owners or executive level class women. Um, we have to figure out how to do things differently. And I heard
Hmm.
someone say last week that as a result of what's going on in the administration in the White House, that we should put our heads down and wait 3 years before we try to go after government contracts again. We are in no position to wait.
Not at all.
So, what can we learn from the Elon Musk? Don't have to
Mm.
agree with him, but
Right.
what can we
Absolutely.
learn from him? What can we learn from people that are in the president's cabinet?
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
can we learn from the people who are growing their businesses? Because if we just look at federal contracting, which is a way that many of our businesses have historically
Hmm.
grown, many folks got cut off from their traditional contract vehicles.
Hmm.
Um, but best believe that that money is still going into somebody's pocket.
It's going somewhere.
So,
That's right.
how do you reorient? I'm not going to say pivot. How do you
Hmm.
reorient yourself, position yourself in your business, learn and make new relationships so that you can benefit from those changes?
Hmm.
You can't just sit back. You got to read the tea leaves. You got to go shake hands and kiss babies. And you might
Yeah.
learn that we're more alike than we are different. Um, one of our biggest learning experiences in 2025 was spending more time on the ground with our team
Mm.
members in Montana. I had
Mm.
never been to Montana before 2025. Never. Like, what? I mean, 2024. 20,
You
I was
had to
like,
Google it
I've
and figure
flown
out
over
where's
it.
Montana at. Where?
Right. I'm like, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that many of our team, some of our team members had reservations because all they knew was this was some New Yorker, a
Hmm.
Yankee coming out west to tell us how to do things. I said, oh no, this is a family business.
That's right.
We work with amazing clients, and I
That's
can
right.
show, I got the receipts to prove it. Nobody
Nice.
gave us anything.
That's right.
It's real work. And then they're like, wait, you have a father? But that was
Mm.
one of the questions. And I'm sure they asked in jest. I was like,
Hmm.
yes, I took over the business after my father passed away. Oh,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sorry for your loss. Oh, that's so sad. So wait, he
Hmm.
started the business? No, my grandparents started the business. They had jobs. They left their jobs and
Yes.
decided to start the business during the civil rights era, um, during Jim Crow.
Hmm.
Oh, so you've been doing this for a while? Yes, I've been doing this for over 10 years. But you look
Yes.
so young. Wait, you got a husband? Yes, we have families. We have
Yes.
whole families. Yes, my husband has a whole business. We run our
Yes.
businesses together. And
Yes.
so when they saw me show up, they
Hmm.
were like, "Okay, so you're not just sitting in a big building on Wall Street collecting checks.
Hmm.
No, we're out here. We're I'm trying to get out the hustle mentality,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
we were out there
Yeah.
hustling."
And there's
And
many different
so
stages of hustle. We all hustling. Depends on, but I know what you mean. You're talking about not the hustle just out there grinding. You hustling in a good way, sipping some tea and having a avocado sandwich in the Ritz
yes and
Carlton.
yes. Yes and yes. And occasionally doing it in the Sky Club, waiting for my
Yes.
connection through
Come
Denver
on.
or,
Come on
or Salt
now.
Lake
Yes,
City.
indeed. Yes, indeed. No, I love that, Jessica. This is, and by the way, do you have a bit more time? I want to respect your time. I think we have the hour book, but do you have a bit more time to
Yes.
talk today? Okay,
Well,
good, good.
I have a hard stop.
In 30, in 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, good. No problem. No, but this has been great, Jessica. I think we'll wrap up on this. If and you've said so much today already, and you may say the same thing again, no problem. But if you're talking to thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs, which you are doing, summarize your whole trajectory in business and family and faith. How do we keep going, Jessica? How are you keep going? Business is hard. Business is not easy. People see me flying around, think I got it made. But give us that nugget one more time, Jessica, what you're seeing that we can learn from you.
Business is simple, but it takes work. And a lot
Mm,
of people don't want to do the work because it looks easy. Easy and simple are not the same thing. So remember, it's simple, but it takes work. When I think about my trajectory being part of a family business, the family has to be the foundation. But as the business grows, the family should be growing. As the family grows, the business should be growing. There's a concept that we talk about in some family business circles where you can have a big F. You have an F and a B. F for family, B for business. Is it going to be a big F and a little b, a little F and a big F and a big B, little F and a little b? Well, if you have a little F and a little b, not going anywhere. If you have a big F and a big B, they're competing. If you have the big F and the little b, there's more focus on family, but then the business gets squeezed out. And so where we're trying to go is where little f, big B, family's going to be family, but the family moves together as a unit to grow the business. And let me tell you why that's important. You mentioned I'm a third generation family business owner. Most businesses don't make it to third generation.
that's
I
right.
think
And they
it's
do not.
less than 15% of all businesses make it to the third generation. And they say shirt sleeve to shirt sleeves. So first generation earns it, second generation keeps it, third generation loses it. I don't want to be that. I want to get to the fourth generation, fifth generation, and I'm learning from my peers and other established family businesses how to do that. But it's important is that we teach the next generation about finances. Financial education is an important part of not just growing your business, but making sure that you grow the family, that there's a faith element to it because you realize you can't do anything by yourself, but it's but the grace of the almighty that keeps us moving
Amen.
forward.
Amen.
And then you do the work, you do it as a family, you stay focused, and you take take care of the finance piece, and that's how you can grow and scale and continue to build legacy through family business. And that's my goal in the work that I do here at Johnson Security and in the work I do in talking to other entrepreneurs.
I love it. Jessica, thank you for your time today. And those who are looking, by the way, for security solutions, what's the website? I think you said already, Johnson Security. I'm sure we can Google it, but please let us know how we can work with Johnson Security. Tell us what to do.
So you can find our website. It's johnsonsecuritybureau.com. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. We don't post a lot on Instagram because most of our clients are on
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn. And if you're going through some of the nation's airports, you may see our teammates in the security lines. They'll be nice to you. I should be nice to them as well.
I love it. And people, please, when y'all go Johnson Security and y'all get that big contract with them, let them know you heard about it from Ramon Ray. Give my name. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. But everybody, my name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com. This is the Rundown with Ramon show with my friend Jessica Johnson. Thank you so much, Jessica, for being here today. And hang tight for 1 second as we close this episode. But thank you, Jessica, so much.
Thank you.